Welcome back. And as promised, I'm going to keep this video even shorter than the remainder of the videos because the only two things we have not looked at, one of them is the thiol, okay, and the other is ether. The reason I reserved ether for the very last is for two reasons. And either as a student in a class myself, or I have taught, even people have expressed different opinions on what they want to use for the remainder of the course. So that's why I kept ether for the very last. So let's start with the thiol, which is easy again. As with the alcohol, let's just throw the SH here. Okay. Now again, you first count the number of carbons in the longest chain, but at the same time, you should also number from the side that contains the functional group, which in this case is the thiol, and it's in the second spot, and we have 7 carbons. So that is heptane, right? Right? So that will be, compared to alcohol, let's say, let me redraw it. Let's say we have this, right? Right? We said this is 2 penta. If this were to be alcohol, it would have been 7 or 2 heptanol, right? Heptane all, right? Because this alcohol is in the second group, and this is very much the same. So 2. Except I don't know if it would look good just replacing it, the E with the thiol. I guess I always leave it the E here just for the thiols and then write 2-heptane thiol. That's the way I name it, because getting rid of this E and throwing the N and the T together, I've never seen anybody write it even in any of the million classes I've been in. I've not here said 2-heptanethiol. No, I've never heard it. So I'm going to say just for the thiols alone, leave a space, write the heptane. The 2 is for the actual position of the thiol. So write 2-heptane thiol. But I don't think that's usually the case for any other compound. It's only the thiols. That's why I reserved it for the last, because that's the only place where we don't get rid of the E and leave it D and just leave a space and write thiol, or you can write it without a space. But I think that's why I kept this for the last. And here comes the ether. So I'm going to write 2 different compounds. Again, for the R's, I'm putting, as I said in my earlier video, that neither of them cannot be hydrogen, because then it becomes water and it's no longer an ether, right? Let's write 2 compounds. Okay. For the ether alone, there's 2 ways I've seen people write. One is the common name, and again, is the IUPAC name. It's not that, it's just sometimes a professor say, let's just stick with common name for ether. Some people say that let's stick with IUPAC for ether. They make a decision on which one they want to carry throughout the remainder of the course. For now, I'm going to give you both. As a class, we can vote on which one do we want to use for just the ethers, okay? Because it's always difficult to remember both, and I don't want you to go back between 2 formats. But here, I'm going to give you both. So this is a metal, right? So we have 2 metals, so we can simply say dimethyl, and it's an ether. Or you can say methyl ether, which I've never heard anybody say it. It's di for 2 methyl groups. Here we have a metal and an ethyl group. So alphabet wise, ethyl, methyl, ether. This is the common name. Now, the IUPAC name is, if you see on my other list, when we have the suffix, actually the prefix list, I have included something called oxy for the ethers, which we're going to go. But I'm going to bring that prematurely just for the ethers here. Here we have, let's pick this one. Okay. This is a methyl group. This is an ethyl group. Okay, so just for the ethers, okay, where the oxy goes depends on the letter. So this is M and E. M comes after E, so the oxy grows with the methyl. So this is methane, actually comes from methane. This comes from ethane, right? So we write methoxy. The E is now replaced by methoxy ethane. Okay, you could write one or not. I usually write one, which is because this is the first place where this ethyl group is attached. So 1-methoxyethane, right? This is a little tricky, right? Now in this case it will be methyl and methyl. Both methyls come from methane, so take one of the methanes and chop off the E, so it becomes methoxy methane. That's correct, but it sounds very weird as I say it. Okay, I'm so used to saying dimethyl ether or ethyl methyl ether. 1-methoxyethane, this is the IUPAC name. Okay, now you may have to watch this video, I guess all of them, just more than once, because even though I gave very little information, still that very little information can be overwhelming to you. So take time, split it, and then watch one video at a time. Don't try to rush through this process. Okay, so I have given you the basics of what you want to know to be successful in naming a wide variety of compounds containing a single functional group. Okay, so far we have not looked at compounds containing more than one functional group, right? And that's going to be the focus of the next video. And again, I would want to say what I want to say within the 10 minutes. And if I can't, I'm probably going to be just throwing a lot of information at you. And what I give you in the 10 minutes is probably sufficient to name a wide array of compounds containing 2 or more functional groups. Okay, now if you hit an exception, we can discuss that as a class, but and then if the exception becomes like a large number of votes, then I'll make a separate video just on that as kind of a backup. Okay, but I think what I'm going to give you in the next video should be sufficient to answer a wide or name a wide variety of compounds. All right, so stay tuned for that video, and that video would wrap up the concept of nomenclature of organic compounds containing functional groups. All right, so stay tuned.